right, good morning, everyone. If I could get you all to please quiet down. Hello, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Karen Maxwell, Plan Section Chief Trainee. If I could get you to silent your phones and kind of pay attention here up front. Welcome to the operational briefing for August 23rd, Thursday. If you would, please open up your IAPs. If you don't have a copy, they're in the plans office, and pay attention to the objectives as you're out there in the fields. Please make sure that your folks know what the objectives are so that everybody's kind of working from the same plan and really knows what our focus is. I'm going to turn it over to Tom for weather and situation here. Thanks.
Good morning, Tom Bird, incident meteorologist here with the team, and let's get into the weather real quick. This is a shot from last night, about I guess 7 o'clock yesterday, right before I left, and this kind of shows the satellite imagery and where the storms were across Texas. Out to the west over here, you can see the deep monsoon moisture plume that's coming up through Mexico and Arizona and bending over towards Texas, the far west Texas, and the Panhandle. This is the last 12 hours worth of lightning that you can see, and you can again see those storms that were in progress yesterday evening, and then some other storms that developed overnight north in the Panhandle. So a lot less lightning than we've been seeing in previous days. This is what the precipitation pattern looked like for the last 24 hours. This is the overnight storm north of Amarillo. Got as much as 3/4 of an inch in one of the rain gauges. Other rain gauges got a half and a third of an inch. Down through here, there was a couple of heavy showers here and there, but none of them hit any rain gauges. All the rain gauges had between 0.2 and a couple of hundredths. So pretty light rainfall and pretty sparse across the state yesterday. This is this morning's satellite imagery, a loop that shows that most of Texas is pretty much clear. There was a shower early this morning that went across Wichita Falls, but it's dissipated. There's what it looks like with the branches overlaid. And if you notice, there's a broad circulation across and around the state in a clockwise fashion, and that would be because we're sitting underneath that big area of high pressure with clockwise flow around it. Basically what that does is that slings all the moisture out of Texas, and it all travels around Texas and kind of circumnavigates the state. So here's our highlights for today and going forward. I think the operative word for Texas over the next several days is that it will bake, and baking implies getting hotter and drier. So that's what we'll see with that high pressure settled over us. We won't see hardly any precipitation across the state. So our temperatures will go above normal. Our relative humidities will continue to creep downward, and we'll start to see a little bit of breeziness, especially over the western, northern, and southern parts of the state. There will be continued storm activity across the Panhandle and far west Texas every afternoon and evening with that little bit of monsoon moisture push clipping that part of the state. And then as we get into the weekend, we'll start to see a few showers along the coastal regions. So this is what the pattern looks like for today. And this right here, low pressure over the Panhandle extending south through the Big Bend, this is what's going to kind of be the driving force for increasing the winds across the western half of the state. And then there again you see the monsoon moisture plume kind of just clipping parts of far west and north Texas. This is the model forecast for what the storms would look like this afternoon and into the evening hours. And again, you see some storms coming across the Panhandle and over in West Texas, and just a few isolated blips across the rest of the state. So if I put it's not a good overlay, but if I put the branches on there, you can kind of see where those storms fall across the state as far as they relate to the branches. So here we go for today's forecast. This is the high temperatures for this afternoon, and we're just expanding that area of 100-degree temperatures further north, further west, further east across much of the state. South of that white line is where we'll see the higher heat. Well above 100 degrees, and that's because we have that perfect mix of hot temperatures and high humidity in that area relative anyway. So there's what the humidity does look like for this afternoon on the minimums. We have a few teens out in the western branch. Most of the rest of the in that 20% range, and as you get east of the I-35 corridor, you'll have some 30% relative humidities. There's your winds for this afternoon on the right-hand side. You're seeing the whole entire state is onshore, southeasterly flow, with the exception of the Panhandle where they have the south to southwesterly flow. And you can see the strongest winds are kind of in a band here, coming out of South Texas across West Texas into the Panhandle, the high plains, the rolling plains. You can see the gust up to 20 to 25 miles an hour in especially North Texas and the rolling plains, 10 to 15 and 15 to 20 down in this area. Fairly light winds as you move east into East Texas. So there's now your precipitation and storm chances over here on the left. Your better chances are going to be in the Panhandle, far west Texas, and then just isolated little showers may pop up in the afternoon hours across central Texas. So not really looking for much in the way of storm activity today. Looking ahead, here's what the pattern looks like for today and going through into Saturday. High pressure continues to dominate our weather as it settles directly over the state. As we get later into the weekend, that high pressure shifts off to the east. We get this little wave that moves in off the Gulf, and this will help to produce some showers along the coastal plains as we get in the weekend and next week. And the next 3 days, including today, on the top is where we think the thunderstorms will develop. This is Saturday. We're starting to see some of that Gulf moisture onto the plains. And then this is where what we think the rainfall pattern will look like. And you can see they're all really low and very isolated, so we're not looking for rain. Couple slides left and we'll be done. This is the 7 days worth of precipitation across the state ending yesterday morning, and you can see it focuses mainly to the north and the south looks very dry. And I presented this last night at the planning briefing. This is the 7-day deficit for precipitation, and it kind of follows what that previous slide showed with really dry conditions, south branch, the central branch, east branch, going into parts of the west branch, and doing pretty well up north and far west. That concludes weather.
Good morning, everyone. Ashley Johnson, working in operations. So yesterday we had no new fires. We did send Task Force 6 this morning to go help out in Walker County with the 2 fires they have going on this morning. Holdover fires, we had the Strayer fire, went to 100% last night, contained. Control date estimated for 8/25. The 443 fire and Graham Ranch fire, both 100% contained. Control date is estimated for 1700 today. We did update the 204s. If you see any corrections that need to be updated, please just let us know. Any other questions? Yeah, please let us know. Have a good day.
Good morning, Mickey Bunton, Safety. Glad to say we had no accidents or injuries again yesterday, so there again it means everybody's keeping the situation awareness up. The big word, complacency, we're controlling complacency because anytime you get complacent you start having accidents and injuries, so we're not having any, so that means we're doing a good job on that also. Got a big day coming up tomorrow on DMOB. Be a lot of people moving around, coming in here to DMOB and everything. Let's just let everybody remind everybody that if you're out of the state and you got driving distance, we'll get the driving times that you got, 10 hours, we got 1 driver, and no more than 16 hours, we got 2 drivers. So just don't exceed those, because once you demob, you're not in an emergency situation, so, you're supposed to follow our guidelines on that. Another hot, dry day today, so let's make sure we're drinking plenty of water and taking our cooling breaks. As you noticed, operations was talking about the fires. The fires are getting a little bit bigger each day, so that means the fuels are getting a little bit drier, the temperature is getting a little bit hotter. What is that? If you go back to your watch out situations, when temperatures get hotter and the relative humidities get lower, it's a watch out situation. And what does that do? It affects your fire behavior. So what do you do on fire behavior? You base your action on what the fire is doing on the expected, and then what the fire may do, because you get in there, the fire may be just mulling along a little bit, then all of a sudden there's a pocket in front of you that the fire behavior, the fuel is dried out, and then it flares up on you, and there you are in a pocket of fuel with it flaring out on you. So just be careful on that situation like that. Again, just be in our driving, stay alert. If we're convoying coming in here to demob, make sure we stay spread out, make sure everybody knows the direction where you're going. If you're going to a fire, make sure everybody knows the direction you're going, because you get into some of these cities, the convoy gets kind of split up, so we need to make sure every person in that convoy knows the direction you're going to be taking to get to the fire. Any questions for safety? Let's have a safe day. Thank you.
Good morning, Susan Cornett with Logistics. Well, you've heard a lot of moving parts today. We've got stuff shifting south to demob. Please go ahead and get us your information if you're going to have any kind of replacement requisitions or any kind of claims you might have. If you'll go ahead and preload that, send me a message to the IMT Logistics at tfs.tamu.edu, or my phone number's in there. Shoot me a picture or a message of some sort so we can go ahead and start that process for you. And then with the activity we have going on south, we're shipping water and Gatorade, batteries, some consumable products down there to Beeville and Smithville today. If there's an area that you, as a regional fire coordinator or a operations person, needs some supplies like that, if you want us to stage them somewhere, if you will please get with me on that, we will put you on that schedule, and y'all have a fabulous day.
Kristen Newman, Public Information Officer. I'm asking for pictures and videos, please, so we can share the story that we've got going here in Texas. And that email is photos@tfs.tamu.edu. Thank you.
Well, good morning. As y'all see, we're continuing to right size, so we have a lot of resources coming in. So if you're traveling here to the ICP to demob, make sure that you pay attention to what Mickey's talked about. And once you hit McGregor, if you're coming or going, just be aware of the speed limits. We got a school zone down at the end of the ICP and those kind of things, so just make sure you're aware of those things. If you notice, the fires are starting to pop exactly where we kind of thought they were going to be, down the South Branch and the Central Branch. This one over here in Walker County is very significant. A couple hundred acres going in our pine, heavily timbered area, so we're starting to see when those RHs hit down below 30%, and we get triple-digit heat, and we're over some of the most driest fuels over there, we only anticipate we're going to get busier. And with all the lightning we saw the last 48 hours, especially over the driest fuels that we have in the state right now, I anticipate that we'll start to get busier, and we're probably going to be shifting resources over that way. So with that, y'all just have a good, safe day. Thanks.
All right, thanks everyone. If you would, go ahead and turn your phones back on. And as everyone has said, have a good, safe day.